We are live.
Yeah, good. Cool. Good evening, Manchester.
We're in Manchester.
I always say good evening, Manchester. Good evening, the world. People from all over the world are watching and tuning in now. Our friends from... I think we're walking the wrong way, Andy, but hey ho.
I know.
People know who we are now, so we're famous. We're world
Sorry,
famous.
I'm just looking at... It's alright. I'm just looking at these bloody footprints on the floor. I think they're for...
Walking your way.
Yeah.
We're walking against the grain.
Yeah.
That's like my life. Walking against the grain always.
COVID one-way systems. So...
But just in case you're asking where we are, we're outside Manchester Town Hall. As you can see, they're doing a massive regeneration. Literally, can you see all that?
That's where the Santa is at Christmas time. This is all the front. You can't really see anything.
They've got historical busts and stuff, all architecture and paintings and stuff from the last, say, 1,000+ years. But yeah, it's just, this is sort of like the centre of Manchester. What is the centre of Manchester? Yeah. But this is the hub of everything.
Over here, 2 taxis waiting for Carlos. Feel a bit weird walking around with your phone at arm's length in the middle of Manchester.
Yeah. In case anyone with a bike starts to fucking snatch anything.
Not that it's
baseball bat someone.
Not that it's rough or anything. Let me swap sides, Carlos, and let's look at these buildings. These are pretty buildings. So yeah, we're just having another walkabout this Sunday because, as you can see, we're in shade at the moment, but the sun is out in Manchester, which is quite rare. Manchester grew so so quickly because of all the cotton mills and stuff back in the day, and that was because of Manchester sits in a bowl and its natural weather. It's very damp in Manchester, gets a lot of rain, and that's the best climate conditions for cotton mills basically. So that's why there's so many cotton mills grew up here, and it's a big industrial boom.
Yeah, there's many reasons, because obviously that was obviously one of the reasons, but also there's a family called the Trafford family. They were huge pioneers and business people, hence the word Old Trafford, Trafford Park. They changed the name to D Trafford, but they date back, the Trafford families date back to 1000 AD. The question I was just asking Andy is, when did you stop using the word AD? It's like, because obviously everybody says 500 AD, 800 AD, we don't say 1500 AD. Yeah. So I'm assuming when it hit 1000, that's when you stop using AD. But the Trafford family were massive pioneers and business people, and they're sort of like, their cloak hangs in Gores Hill Park, on the gates of Gores Hill Park. A lot of people don't know that.
I don't even know Gores Hill Park. I know
just behind Old Trafford.
I know Gores Hill.
Near where,
I know Gores Hill, but I don't know the park.
Yeah, just next to the park near Gores Hill.
That's the statue here. Yeah, talking of AD, I heard another funny. Remember when it was all 2001, 2002, 2003? Yeah. There's a similar thing then. When did you stop using 2000? When did you switch to 20? So we go 2020 now, don't we?
I say
2018, 2019.
2000. I said the noughties. The noughties.
No, that's the decade name. That is the decade name. But I think it was like when you got to 2010. 2009 sounds normal. You won't say 2009, would you? But 2010. 2010 sounds all right, doesn't it?
I think it's just when it's reach certain landmarks and stuff like that. So. But we get towards the centre, which is Peter Square, which is pretty much the Peterloo Massacre here.
Yeah, we mentioned Peterloo Massacre on the last podcast. The last live stream.
One of the last. I think it was the one before that.
Was it the one before? Yeah. I've got a bit of a bit of a recap of the previous some of the things we said in the previous episodes. I will cover that. Carlos got a question asked on social media. Was it Facebook that came through on?
Yes.
So Carlos was asked a question on Facebook. I've got a question for the chat group. What else?
And it's not about. You said it's a question about Diana, didn't you?
That's my recap, because we talked about Diana last time, didn't I?
I'm sure we'll remember.
Yeah, we'll remember.
We just had a quick pint, and then we just sort of had a sort of business meeting.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm swapping sides again, Carlos. to show. This is the library. It's like a round circular building.
Library.
Yeah, and that's got some interesting artwork on there. It's not artwork, is it? Was it carving? Or what? I don't know. What
It'll be some kind of it'll be Masonic masonry kind of stuff.
It is. Yeah, would you call it artwork?
Yeah, definitely, it's definitely artwork. You got a single from. I tell you what, let's take a picture of this and then see if people know what this is called. Because the people under 25 years old won't know what this is called.
That's true.
So, to anyone under 25 years old watching this podcast or live stream, what is one of these?
It's
So 25 years ago, you walked into one of these and go, put your 10p in, you go, Mum, Dad, I'm stuck, can you come and pick me up? So that was the old days, before Uber, before fucking trains, before trams. You ring your mum, Dad,
before
sorry,
mobile
Mum.
phones.
Yeah, it says before mobile phones, it says, Mum, Dad, I'm lost. Oh, I'm outside Piccadilly 21s or Discotheque Royales, can you come and pick me up? I've got no money left. So these must be the only two working telephone boxes.
I'm surprised they are working.
Oh, they're working.
They do smell toilety though, don't they?
Stink of piss though.
They do smell toilety, yeah.
So there's two.
Yeah, I think we're going to walk over here because I thought it just might be a bit quiet over here in this little alcove. So, Carlos.
Yes.
I'm going to start with going back to the last podcast.
A recap, is it?
Recap, yeah.
Good.
So, first of all, you two guys are absolutely right. You and Bobby Shafter. Is Bobby on? Don't know if Bobby's on.
No, he's not on yet.
But you
Jonesy 05, 75's on.
Oh, he's subscribed. Is he just subscribed to us?
With Prime.
Oh, cheers.
Cheers,
Thanks,
Jonesy.
Thank you very much. Yeah, we've now got a subscription button. Yeah, now got a subscription button. No idea how Twitch works. I've got some other buttons set up. We won't hear them at the moment because of the way we're streaming.
So I'm multitasking here. I'm actually talking and reading the chat room as well, so just in case.
Yeah, we won't actually get the audio notifications if anyone presses the buttons because of the way we're live streaming at the moment. So yeah, Princess Diana.
Yes.
All I was going to say, in fact, can I lean my phone here and then we can.
We're all right.
Probably just stand here and talk. That's better. Hopefully you can still hear us. We've only got 2 views at the moment, but there we go. So yeah, Princess Diana definitely was a Sunday. So my memory might be a false memory. Or maybe I didn't hear till the Monday morning.
So me and Bobby were right about the Saturday night and then coming in Saturday night.
It was Sunday, 3 a.m. Sunday morning she died. So yeah, but that wasn't the only callback I wanted to do. Paul Burrell.
Yes.
Right, Paul Burrell.
Yeah.
Right, I'm gonna ask you to remind me what you said about the case.
Yeah, the case.
But before I ask you,
yeah.
Paul Burrell's case. Do you know what he's on trial for?
Something like stealing so many items of Diana.
Yeah, it
like
was
personal items like diaries and furniture.
Yeah.
Personal stuff.
He basically had a raid on his house, and the police found several items.
Well, she said Diana gave him personally.
That's what his story was. They belonged to Princess Di, and none of the items belonged to the Queen or anyone else. They were there. So originally. Everyone else, the Queen and Philip and all that, they were sort of left out of the investigation because they went, oh, actually, we've not found any of your personal items, so we're going to leave you out. So, can you remind me what happened at the court case? How did the court case get stopped?
Yeah, the Queen actually got involved, walked into and stopped it.
Tell the chat room.
Yeah, so basically what happened is the Queen walks into the courtroom and dismisses the actual court case.
Yeah. Right. What actually happened, so this is fact checking from, what actually happened was, I read up on this.
Yeah, but you won't read it because it won't say the truth.
No, you can read up on it, because you can Google Paul Burrell, Queen chronology case or something like that. Put those words into Google, it'll come up. So basically what happened is, as I was saying, the police raided his house and found these items. None of them were the Queen's, so she wasn't involved in the case, and she didn't have any involvement or any information about any of the case until it went to court. Then when it went to court, and this she recalled She was in a car with Philip and Charles.
Can't remember that.
And she no, this is the statement, the official statement. She was in a car with Philip and Charles, and she said, "Oh, this, you know," they were discussing the Paul Burrell case, and she said, "Do you know what? I do remember a conversation with him 5 years ago, where he said to me, I've taken some of Diana's stuff for safekeeping. Do you think we should tell the police about it?" So the case is ongoing. She didn't know what he was really on trial for because she was not.
She would have known.
She was. This
would
is
have
the story.
known.
This is the story anyway. So they decided, actually, yeah, we probably should inform the police. So they informed the police and the magistrate, and it was the magistrate's decision to then say that this new evidence had come up. They sort of broke court, had a conversation for 20 minutes and dismissed the case because they went, actually, Paul, this new evidence has come forward and it does clear what you're saying, because if they hadn't have done that, he had no evidence whatsoever.
I think
he then started going onto the media going, "Oh, the Queen's come down, the Queen's come in for me." Sorry, the big tram going past. He was then banging onto the court. Where's the tram? He was then banging onto the press about how all the Queen's come through for me and all this sort of stuff. But literally she was just like, "No, I just recalled this information." She didn't walk into the courtroom or nothing and stop the case. Because I mean, my
Maybe I was paraphrasing, but
my skeptic senses were going mental when you said that, because I went, if she walked into a courtroom and went, "No, stop this, throw the case out," I would have known about it.
I remember watching a video clip of her walking into the court case. Walking in. So I'm gonna have to go into the dark web to get this. So I will go into the dark web and prove I'm right. So, but apparently the true stories, or what the true allegations were, he had a lot of information on the royal family, and he was saying, well, if I go down, then everybody goes down, and that's when apparently the Queen allegedly says, "Fuck that, I'm gonna just sort of pardon him and then move on." So it's just weird that he's got his court cases. He puts all this thing, if I'm going down, everyone else is going down, and then she sort of pardons it. But I do remember, if people are on here, you're not going to find it on normal sort of like internet, or you might have to go to the dark web to get this.
That's convenient.
No, but you will, because it's all been eradicated. But she did actually go into the courtroom and just dismiss the whole court case. That's how as I remember it.
Well, I found quite a few articles.
No, but the thing is,
and then
I
found
remember,
the official statement.
but nobody can remember the video of her walking into the court case, and
maybe you dreamt it.
Maybe it's a Mandela effect. Maybe we have to talk about that again.
I know.
Well, no, that's it. So, but I am right, but it's but just to let you know, I am right anyway. And he's back down. He says, "You were right, Carlos, but there's a few flaws in your story."
No, the way you said it.
No, but is this serious? She didn't walk in and back down the court case.
I think that must have been a lookalike or something.
No, but seriously, go to the dark web. I authorise you to go to the dark web and look for this. But obviously,
that's your homework for next
time. That's my homework. Go to the dark web. I need to go to Onions. That's all these layers on dark web. I don't go to the dark web just in case. So no, that'd be. We'll have to obviously look at that, and we'll see what happens when next time. Next time we do a live stream, I'll see if we get some information on that.
Cool. Yeah. Okay. So new stuff then. Let me say that. Literally, just as we were having a beer just then, there's a picture on social media. I was just having a beer just before we started the live stream. I saw a rumour that's apparently gaining traction.
Yes.
That Neil Buchanan from Art Attack. Do you remember that? In fact, do you remember the story that Neil Buchanan had died of a heart attack?
No, I don't remember.
Oh gosh, like a few years ago that came out. But he was a big children's TV presenter, presented a program called Art Attack.
So you're going back the early noughties, aren't you, probably for that?
Possibly, yeah, maybe even 90s.
Yeah,
90s, early 2000s. But apparently, people are now trying to say that he is Banksy, basically.
Yeah, the Banksy stuff, because I've spoken to a few people from Bristol, and a lot of the people from Bristol say it's the guy from Massive Attack, which I don't know the guy from Massive Attack, but because apparently he's meant to be in his early to mid 40s.
Rob, isn't it?
Rob, so his early to mid 40s, but Banksy's been around for a while, hasn't he? Or has he not?
I don't know. I think for me, he feels like he's been around forever.
Yeah, he's probably has. I think he's probably been last 10, 15. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's usually like probably last 10, 15 years or so. But I think the reason why Banksy got world famous. I know he was always around. He was sort of locally famous. I think he got famous because Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt bought one of his art pieces, and that's how he become famous. I think they commissioned one of his art pieces, and he just went when someone like say David Beckham or Brad Pitt or one of these superstars commission when he worked, he goes viral, and that's how Banksy went from being geographically or nationally, locally famous to worldwide famous. That's when the Americans got involved and stuff like that. Yeah. But yeah, it'd be. I wish it was him, but I don't think it's him. I think Banksy's just probably just one of these. He's one of these clever artists. I don't think. I know it sounds weird to be saying this. I don't think he's talented. I think he's smart and very clever.
Banks, if you listen to this, sorry about that.
No, but I think there's more talented artists out there, but I think Banksy is clever at marketing. He's a clever marketer.
Right, art is a funny thing, right? I mean, Banksy's style is he's got
stencil.
It's stencils, but they're very clever how he does it and what he does it on. I mean, the location of it.
The meaning is brilliant behind it.
And the meaning behind it is as much the art as just someone spray painting a stencil.
It's all about meaning. He hits the point. Like all his artwork, it's a timestamp. When he did ones on like Parliament, he did ones on politicians. He did one on COVID. Yeah. It's always like all his artwork has like a timestamp. So he's genius on that. But in terms of like, if you say, could I replicate his work? Yes. I know people says, well, why don't you? But it's like, could I replicate Da Vinci's work? No, I couldn't. But I could replicate Banksy's work.
That's more of a classical artist, isn't it?
Yes.
Right? But when you talk about art these days, people say anything could be art.
Yeah.
And literally, like the banana on a wall, for example, that thing, and it's just like, oh, come on, But I mean,
was it Tracy Emin?
I can't remember.
Who used to do like, how many guys she's fucked or something? Correct me if I'm wrong, peeps, on there. Tracy Emin or Tracy Yemin or something like that, or
Yemin sounds.
She used to just basically she wrote on a bed how many guys she's fucked. And that was art.
That was art.
That was art.
Yeah.
Or then there's one, I think it was her, she just did a bedroom just with crisp packets and chocolates and Jaffa cakes all over it, and it goes, that's art.
Yeah.
And maybe it is art, but people spend a million. I think it was the same era as Damien Hirst. Damien Hirst and Tracy from the 80s and stuff.
He was like the tin of soup and all that one.
Yes, he's a shark. He was a shark.
He was a shark.
And the most expensive one he did was the one, a skull with the crystal.
Tin of soup was Andy Warhol, wasn't it?
Was it Andy Warhol? Yeah, might be.
Might
My Warhol was more clever. He was more photography. And he messed around with photography, Andy Warhol.
But I like the interesting stuff where people literally get a 3-year-old to doodle some crap. You know, a tree, a house, a garden, and then they basically put it up in they hire somewhere out, they put it next to some really expensive paintings by known artists, and they get these snobs, sorry if you're an artist thing, but they get these artists, what they call when they come in, like critique the work, whatever, but they get these people to come in, and they come in and they go, oh, I like how they've done the grass purple, that means such and such and such. They read that much into it, and then they turn around and go, actually, we've just conjured that was made by a 3-year-old. Next thing, it's in the paper, 3-year-old due to become an amazing artist because some of the work has been critiqued by these. Have you never seen them articles?
I have
and I'm
seen
like,
it.
you're just trying to get yourself out of a fucking hole. You're just talking bullshit.
But the thing is that's the thing with art. It's the meaning, it's the time, it's the thought process behind it. And it's like, I think Beethoven, correct me if I'm wrong, Beethoven once said, what is music? Music is going inside the composer's mind. Music's not just, I dance to waltz or dance to tango or dance to rock and roll. You're going into the mindset of the composer. So, and the same as an artist, when you look at art, he goes, what was he thinking about when he drew that fucking penguin, when he drew that stroke? Because like, people talk about Van Gogh, like how he was a genius, and people forget he was addicted to absinthe. He chopped off his ear to send to a prostitute he fell in love with, and people say he was a genius. But the guy was and there's that fine line between insanity and genius. And you look at all these artists. So when you look at these artwork, sometimes you have to think, how much drugs were they doing? How much drugs were they doing? How much alcohol was induced? And because you look at all these geniuses, I'm not tarnishing them all and saying brush, no pun intended, but they're not normal. they're all addicted to either sex or fucking alcohol or drugs, or there's some form of addiction. I've read most of our geniuses from through our lifetime, and they're all addicted to something. They're not what you call normal. They're not normal people, and that's the thing. That's why we find them fascinating. Because you think, I love his artwork, but fuck me, I wouldn't like anything to do with it. Like Beethoven was an evil bastard. Anything you read about Beethoven, he was one of the nastiest people to live or to walk the face of this planet. But once you write music, his music was lucidity. And that's the same applies to art and stuff like that. All the skateboarders behind us, just in case.
So, right, question for the chat room. Now I'm going to ask this to Carlos, and I'll probably answer it as well. If you could invent a new school subject, what would it be? So just stick your answers in the chat, we'll come back to it.
Okay.
Meantime, while you're thinking about that, Carlos, you had a question on Facebook, didn't you?
Yeah, so if Mark Gray, thank you for the question and the comments. He said he was obviously browsing the internet or browsing podcasts, and he came across our podcast. He liked it, like the balance of me and Andy. Me and Andy are like chalk and cheese, where that's the balance between it. Nick also, he sort of balances out as well. And the question he asked us was, what's my opinion on Adolf Hitler not committing suicide, escaping?
So just keep talking, I'm just going to pan the camera so you can see what the noise is. So Adolf Hitler, yeah.
So basically, did he commit suicide or did he sort of like escape? My personal opinion, and did he? I think he asked, did I watch Hunting Hitler? Yes, I've watched Hunting Hitler, season 1, season 2, 2 or 3 times or so. I absolutely
2 or 3 times.
2 or 3 times. I love it. It's one of the best programs. I think they're re-showing it again on Dave or something like that. But I've watched it all. I've got it all recorded on Skybox. But my answer is yes, he escaped. Why do I think he escaped? Because the Soviet Union never seen his body. They just seen a burnt body, or certainly a burnt body, badly burned. And years later, the skeleton found was of a female. If you look at the history books and look at all the evidence, is after 1945, when the war was ending, and this is the bit where it gets controversial, but the Red Cross and the Roman Catholic Church were big supporters of the Nazi regime. They created what we call the rat lines, so to help all the Nazis fleeing from Germany to go to South America, which is Chile and Argentina. So they created the rat lines to hold the Roman Catholic Church. People forget that the Roman Catholic Church opened up the genealogy books to the Nazis to make sure they killed all the Jews, eradicate them from history. That's how much the Roman Catholic Church were involved in this. People forget that the Roman Catholic Church in Germany, the 20th of September, from 1939 to 1945, celebrated on the 20th of April, Adolf Hitler's birthday. So these people, and not just 1 or 2, tens and tens of thousands of Nazis emigrated to Chile and to Argentina. If you go to certain parts of Chile and Argentina, you'll see like German cities. Just basically people just don't even speak Spanish, just speak German. It's just literally, why did they escape to South America? It's because South America is probably 94-95% Christian. And without going too much into politics, if you go into a place which is very Christian, so that means they're very we'll say anti-Semite, but obviously they've not accepted Judaism, they've not accepted Islam,
any other
or
religion.
anything. So it's majority Christianity. Adolf Hitler was a Christian or Roman Catholic, devout Roman Catholic, as was Himmler and stuff. But yeah, so the answer. Good question is yes. I do believe he fled, and I do believe he carried on the Third Reich or the Fourth Reich, because everything he tried to implement, we've sort of created a united Europe. Yeah. One currency, yeah. One language. Yeah. It's basically it's created, but in a different format. What people start saying, what does it mean by creating the Aryan race? People, the blonde hair, blue eyed. What he tried to create is a strong race, because he was obsessed with occults, and that's why they get the blonde haired. They called the Nordics and the tall whites. But yeah, so go deeper into that.
Well, before you go deeper into that, we'll save that for a podcast maybe. But
good question.
I've watched on Carlos's recommendation a couple of months back. He went, oh, such and such an episode is on now. Give it a try, Andy. Give it a try. I've watched 2 episodes of it. I really struggled with it. I mean, the episodes were right in the middle of a season. I don't know if it's season 1 or season 2. I think it's probably season 2. The fact that you can go back to the mystery about Hitler's body, fair enough. There's a mystery around it about what actually happened to it and a lack of evidence. You can literally pour through history books for the rest of your life to try and find out what happened to his body, and you might not find the answer. And this is what this team of 3 or 4 guys are doing.
Ex-CIA operatives.
What I saw,
top guys.
Ex-CIA, Jesus Christ.
The guys who found Osama
What
bin
I
Laden.
saw on this programme was an absolute shambles. There was literally no evidence in the programme. In the 2 episodes I watched, there was no evidence. Some of the stuff they were doing was absolutely farcical. So one of the episodes, they're looking for evidence of an underground bunker, because apparently if they'd smuggled him over there, they would have started stashing him in underground bunkers. So they started getting leads on these different underground bunkers. And part of it, do you remember this bit? They got to a field. They got access to this, not a field, like someone's backyard. And he started going around it with this device, this ground penetrating device.
Called LADAR,
And they're going up and down, he's going, I'm not seeing anything, it's all just dirt, I'm not seeing any cavities, nothing, blah, blah, blah. And in the corner of this compound, there's a load of weird, not barrels, but containers stacked up. And they're like, well, we've scanned everywhere, the only place we've not scanned is there. And then so the CIA guy, whoever he frigging thinks he is, goes, oh, well, if you were going to hide a bunker and wanted to stop people detecting it, wouldn't you stick stuff on top so you couldn't see it? So the guy gets up on top of these things with his LADAR, his ground penetrating radar, and he's hobbling all over it like this, trying to ping it. And they look at the results and they go, look at this, there's something there. Of course there's something there. You're on top of some bloody containers with hollow compartments. Doesn't mean it was absolute joke.
But I only watched 2 episodes. You have to watch the entire. No,
these guys were just making things out, and the editing was unbelievable. They went and talked to this guy, and this guy was terrified. You know, mainly because
in Argentina, or
it was in Argentina. Yeah, he didn't speak it. They had a translator there.
Is it
It was one of the same episodes. He didn't speak English. He didn't speak American. So they got this translator there. And they're just caught, you know, they're asking him a question and he's looking really nervous, as he would. He stood there with these 2 big guys, these 2 big ex-military guys. Of course he's going to look nervous. He doesn't know what they're saying until the translator translates it. And then then the guy's just pausing. Before he can answer, they cut it. And the other guy's basically putting words in his mouth without him actually saying it. Oh, he's too scared to even tell us. That's the trouble around here. They're even now, 40, 50, 70 years later, they're too scared to talk about Hitler. There's something in it, I'm like, oh, fuck off.
No, but the thing is, that to add to that is they did find loads of evidence of old cemeteries with Nazi swastikas. And if you go onto YouTube...
But a lot of Germany went... I mean, one of the episodes, they found a school, had a big swastika at the top of the school, and it was set up for the German kids because...
I think they're balancing it out. I think what they do is try and balance it out, because it's a bit like a UFO guy. You see a UFO which is like, oh my God, you are a weirdo, go away. And you think this guy, okay, there's some validity. This guy's sorry... You know, there's some validity in his story, so he's trying to balance it up. I'm saying the same with this hunting Hitler. They'll speak across different people who worked with him or people who might have seen him. There's one of the episodes there, and they actually got a picture of him, Adolf Hitler. They actually say, we have a picture of Adolf Hitler from probably the 60s, 70s, and they go, shh, but they never show it to the TV. And they go, and then. And the next episode,
I wonder why.
But because they could eradicate it by going, no, that's not Adolf Hitler. Look, they don't show it.
They're not going to show it because they want another season out of it.
Oh no, but seriously,
these guys. Oh no, yeah. Anyway, I think so. We've talked about Hitler quite a lot in the podcast. I think we need a break from Hitler for a while.
No, I just find it so fascinating that everything, the way I talk, the way Andy talks, the God you talk to, the way you dress, is all from war. It's all from war. You know, if you were born this part of the world, you're more likely going to be Christian. If you're born 6,000 miles that way, you're more likely Muslim. If you're born 8,000 that way, you're probably Judaism. So war is impacted on the way you talk, the way you dress, the God you pray to, the kind of food you eat. Because if you're a Muslim, you wouldn't eat any meat. If you're a Christian, you eat meat. So that's why war is so. I just find it fascinating. It impacts everything we do. Everything we do.
I wouldn't say that was because of war, though. I would say
it's just
war's because of religion. I would say it's because of religion.
The thing is that I'd class the United Kingdom or England as a Christian country. Christianity was brought over by the Roman Empire. That's what brought it over to us. Yeah. We were Druids, pagans. Druids. So Christianity, war. What would you say it's a war? They just come over, raped and pillaged and took over. Technically, it was a war, but they came over.
It was an invasion. But yeah, okay, that can move boundaries of stuff. But at the end of the day, it's religion that's motivating. The Crusades was a religious motivated war, wasn't it? Without a doubt.
Then you got the Persian Empire, which is more Muslim.
Yeah, and you can go on about all these different examples. 90% of all the wars had religious reasons.
No, I've read a book somewhere that only 7% of the wars is based on religion. A lot of it's based on power and just.
Again, religion is closely connected to power. Look at the Vatican.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Yeah. We definitely get a podcast out of all this. So, school subject. School subject. If you could invent one, have you ever thought a thing about one? I had no one in the chat room mentioned one.
If I can invent one?
Yeah, any subject.
A subject, I can invent one. I don't know, it'll be something to do with something about it'll be something like philosophical, something like the meaning of life.
You can do philosophy.
No, but real...
Philosophy.
No, but I know you do philosophy, but I think it just gives you the structure, but the sort of the software side and the philosophical, because obviously, because now people are talking about are we living in a simulation? So, because I know people are embedding philosophy into simulation. So, I don't know. It's a good question. I don't know. I'd probably some kind of the meaning of life, but without the obviously talking about Plato and Aristotle and all that kind of stuff, or any famous philosophers and stuff like that.
I'd probably say that's already covered. But so it's hard to think of a subject because you think he's told everything at school, English, maths. I've got one.
What's that?
Geocaching.
Geocaching? What's that?
You don't know what geocaching is? Okay, right. Settle down for the night, guys, because I can literally talk all night. Geocaching. I first heard about geocaching on a podcast. This podcast I was talking about. It's just a talk podcast, a bit like ours. And they mentioned this geocache thing, and I went, geocache? So I Googled it. Took me onto this website, and I was very suspicious because literally it's all about having an app on your phone that knows your location, and you sign up and you know a username, and you go to a location, you find something. But geocaching is basically about going finding Tupperware boxes in fields or anywhere. So in fact, Carlos, after we've done the live stream, I'm going to get some photos. I'm going to find a geocache near us. There'll be one in Manchester City Centre for sure. I'm going to take Carlos to one and find one. So basically, it's just like a little treasure hunt game. It's great for the kids. Although I started doing it pre my daughter being born, so she's 7. So I was doing it. I started 8 or 9 years ago. 2011 I started, 9 years ago. Wow. It's not as good as it used to be.
You've been into this podcast quite a while now, haven't you?
Into podcasting, yeah. Oh yeah, I was into podcasting well before then. The reason I love it, and I think it's good for kids, tells them about using the phone to navigate, maps. Tells them about GPS locations, what that all means, satellites. You can bring all that into it. The fact it's also fun. The fact that you then go out. In fact, a lot of schools do sort of do this. They'll have a school geocache, or they'll go, they'll go and do these things, or they have done it. It's a bit of a fad thing, but it is fun. You don't know where it's going to go. I like doing it on holiday. I went to New York 8 years ago and downloaded the geocaches because it was so expensive to have a SIM over there. So downloaded them on my phone. Obviously your phone uses GPS without a signal, so they're already on my phone, and I just followed the signal, followed the clues. So a lot of geocaches have little clues, and literally in New York, you might not know this, there's a places called public open places, or POPs, P-O-P, and they're actually encouraged. So literally you've got all these skyscrapers everywhere you go, and you can be following your phone, and you're like, where the hell is this going to be hidden? Because you have to literally have somewhere to hide it. And the next thing, you see this little entranceway, and you go in, and you go into the entranceway, and there's a little fountain there with a couple of chairs, and it's a little public open place. Some of them are big, some of them are not very big, with seating for maybe 6 people in it. And I mean, one of the ones was dedicated to one of the fire crews that were on the corner that lost all their lives in the 9/11. And it's like I literally never would have even known this little area was here if I'd not been following my GPS and finding this place. And yeah, I've done it in Spain, done it in Cyprus, and yeah, Cyprus. I found these. We went up. It was called the UFO. So we go up this mountain track. Literally, no one goes up it. You got a hire car, so you don't really care. You go up this mountain track, and literally, I'm just following the little beeper on my phone, and then I come across, and I literally see this UFO on the hillside. No joke. Not a real UFO, guys, but it's actually a prefabricated domicile, and it's shaped like this UFO, and it's got windows in the side, shaped UFO shape, and you have one little entrance in, and in there you've got a little bed, little kitchen. I'm gonna find a picture and post these because I believe George R. Clark, or is it George R. Clark? Amazing Spaces, Small Spaces.
Yeah.
Is it R. Clark?
I think it's R. Clark. Yes.
He went to one in one of his episodes where someone had got hold of one. They're really hard to get off. They were in like the 60s, 70s. Not many were produced. He got one. This guy put these 2 shells back together and recreated it and built all these little things in. And in fact, there's a place in Wales where you can actually go and stay in one. It's it's like you go glamping. They've just got one in their field, and you can go, and it's quite expensive, about £100 a night, but you can go and have a sleep in this little UFO. But literally, so I'm in Cyprus.
So you do it all over the world, basically.
Everywhere. Maybe not China. They're a bit harsh on it, but yeah, my mum and dad found some in Russia.
So is it just people?
You put them out. So as you sign up for an account, and I've got one myself. So I went to Cyprus, and in Cyprus it's Mount Olympus.
Yeah.
It's the mountain in Cyprus. I think it's called Mount Olympus. It's got another name as well, which escapes me for the moment. Right at the top there's an RAF base, but just before it's all fenced off, there's like a ski slope and stuff up there. There's already caching trails up there. I went with me, took some boxes, and at the time my sister lived over there, so you can only place a cache if you live in the country where the cache is. I placed one, but I had to say to this, so they all get authorised by a certain set of, again, all the members doing it for free. Can't believe I'm talking about this for so long. It is interesting. I'm gonna change your world. I am gonna change your world.
What are you doing, Carl? I'm looking for Tupperware.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So you better put that 8 o'clock date back, man. You're not gonna make that. So yeah, I went up with some containers, and I found a couple of locations that were, you can't like put them on top of each other. You got to be a certain distance. So I found a couple of locations, registered, said that my sister lived in the country, she would maintain them, and that's it. And they've been there, whatever. One of them, I looked only the other day, has been found over 1,500 times just by other holiday makers. Every time someone finds it, you log a little message on the website, and you get a little smiley face on your map, and that gives you a little, oh yeah, I've got another smiley face, tick it off. Some people, I'm not even at 2,000. I found maybe in 9 years, I found, well, me, my dad and my brother, we've jointly found about 1,600, I think we're at. Tupperware, yeah.
What do you do with Tupperware? Do you put back?
Yeah, you get it, you take it, you sign a log to say you've signed it, then you do it on the app. The reason you do a log is, a lot of old timers, they'll come and pick the log up, and they'll go through the log, and they'll go through the website, and they'll go, Andy, he's not on the list here, and they'll remove your little fine from it if you've not signed it. Okay. So some of them are like, so signing it is an old-fashioned thing because you will literally be mountaineering, orienteering, and you'd have a little pencil with you, and this is how you do it. But obviously the website grew from it, and obviously the technology. So now, sometimes I'll take a photo and attach a photo to my log to say, look, I found the cache, it's in my hand, because I've not got a pen with me and stuff like that. Really interesting. You can also find swappables. So I fill them, some of mine I filled with little toys. So you take your kids, they can take a toy out, and as long as they put a toy of the same value back in, and so you can go to them and you can find these little toys. So yeah, my daughter's always finding little toys and stuff.
So it's going to be good for the 6 weeks holiday. We should have done this earlier for the 6 weeks
Oh,
holidays.
sorry, yeah. Well, we're not doing a parenting thingy, but yeah. Anyway,
No, but something I've been looking
so that
for.
would be a good. That would anyway. Back to my question. That would be a good lesson. You know, I think. Gets the kids out. It also it gets you out and about. If you've got a dog, if you've got a dog or whatever.
And the good thing is what you're incorporating is this. Because now, if I could give anyone advice now, I say don't be a plumber, don't be a mechanic, get into software. Yeah. All my mates, younger brothers who sort of like early 20s, they're onto software. They're all on 6-figure salaries.
Yeah.
All the mates, all the big brothers, are all car mechanics and plumbers doing well for themselves. They work their fucking ass off, and they earn nowhere near as what the younger brother does, and he only works from home. Yeah. It just shows the work smarter, not harder.
I think there's dangers in all things.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of work.
If you could develop an unbelievable app, if you can sort of like coding. If you know coding, you'll be guaranteed work for the rest of your life.
Yeah. If you can come up with a little addictive game that's free to play, which is rewarding, but every now and again it throws you an advert in it, you get 1 million people to download that. Yeah. That's it. You're a millionaire because through the advertised revenue. You know, it's.
Did they teach that in school though? Something like that?
Yeah. Oh, a lot. Yeah, coding. I think coding in my daughter's school. Before she leaves in the 6th year, there's certain coding elements she has to have learned and know about it. And but I think they really do it. But I think it's going to get younger and younger and younger. Even now, what year is she in? She's in year 3, just started. So even in year 1 at preschool, they used to go to they call it the IT suite. They used to go to the IT suite and have some sort of computer time. I was shocked when I opened a laptop and she goes, "I know what I'm doing, Dad." I'm like, "Who's told you how to use a mouse?"
It just shows us. The other day we've got really quite a lot of attraction on TikTok. So one of our videos have got like 300,000 plus. And I had to create some of the videos. Andy, what do you do here? He goes, I don't know. So I was asking my fucking 13-year-old niece. My niece was, it's like, you asked them what to do. It's like, I'm not a gimp on computers. I know what I'm doing around software, brilliant. But these kids are just grab and just make it look easy. Like I'm there, like Andy, we've got 300,000 views on here, but I don't know how.
we need her help for Twitch.
Yeah, we need her help for that. But no, that's an interesting one. So I'm sure there's nothing on the chat room on that. Everyone's probably pissed at the moment in beer gardens or something. Yeah. We just come from a beer garden. So, is there anything else we want to cover? Or?
I can kill another few minutes. We're getting up to about 50 minutes now, aren't we? So, film reviews. I said I had a film review.
You don't so much fun though.
I forgot now. I should tell you all. It's a film review.
But we don't know the name of the film.
I'll tell you what I will talk about. A programme called The Boys.
Yes.
Season 2.
I've seen season 1.
Excellent. Season 2 is just started on Amazon Prime.
Season 1, brilliant. I loved it. It was just basically it's like superheroes who are got a bit of malevolence in them. They're pretty evil. They kill.
It's realistic, I would say.
If you got them powers, would you abuse them? I think you would.
Exactly. It's a reinvention of your classic superhero program. If you've never seen it, it's dark. It's realistic. It is like.
Because if
you imagine
if you had super hearing or super eyesight or X-ray vision, you would abuse it.
Would you abuse it?
Of course you would.
Yeah, stuff like, so it's not quite like mutants or.
If I could read your mind
X-Men.
and steal your ideas at work, I would. Or vice versa. Or I'd steal Bill Gates' ideas. Well, of course I would, because it's like, boss, I did it, not Andy did it. You would. If you could steal people's ideas, you would be a millionaire. You could read people's ideas and stuff, read people's minds and stuff.
If you could see 6 seconds into the future or all these sort of, I mean, they're all handy. But yeah, it is good because there's like a corporation behind the superheroes that run the super. They run it as a business, don't they? No, it's literally.
I've watched season 2 started. I watched it last night.
Is the whole season available, or is it
first 3 episodes?
Is it first 3?
So
I'm likely to wait and then binge.
So I've watched all of season 1. Have you watched season 1 yet?
Oh yeah.
So I watched. So the first 3.
I've been waiting for this for ages. Yeah.
So in season there's quite a good few things at the moment because I do look on sort of like. Because someone was asking me, just to tag on with your film review, someone's just saying to me, someone asked me a question, what's the best ever twist in a film? And I was thinking, the only one I could really, there's quite a few twists obviously, but the one I really would say the best twist in the film ever would be Usual Suspects. I know you're more of a movie buff than me, but people mention the Luke, I'm your father, that's a big twist.
Yeah.
Sixth Sense. Sixth Sense, obviously I see dead people. But the one that comes to mind...
Spoilers.
Sorry.
No, these are all old films. These
are
all old films, so if you ain't watched some of these by now, it's fine.
It's your own fault,
yeah.
But in terms of, like, I'd say probably Usual Suspects probably the greatest ever twist. Because you're more of a movie buff than me. What would you say? Would you say it's that one or not?
Oh, I thought that was brilliant. Usual Suspects, I came to that late. I don't know why I missed it, but I thought it was a great film. The same with what's the one with Brad Pitt in?
Seven.
No, the one where he's did the same person. Come on, help me out, chat room.
Same person? What do you mean same
They're
person?
the same person. It plays like it's him and his mate, Tyler Durden.
Not Benjamin Button, no?
No.
It's the same person.
Yeah, it plays like it's the same person, but it's not. Fight Club, Jonesy.
Fight Club.
Thank you very much. Thank you,
Jonesy.
Yeah, first rule about don't talk about
Fight Club.
First rule about Fight Club: don't forget the fucking name of Fight Club.
Fight Club.
Yeah,
that's another one.
So Fight Club, again, I came late to that.
Brad Pitt again, another great. People just put him as a sex symbol, but he's a fantastic actor. It's like Leonardo DiCaprio, brilliant actor.
Yeah.
Brilliant actor.
Yeah. They have been in some good films, but the films they're up there. They are up there. I give them 5 stars.
Fight Club, and you mentioned the actor in that is Ed Norton.
That's it, Ed Norton. Yeah.
Ed Norton does another one which is about a rope. I should have said it's an old film with Richard Gere in it. It's got another twist in it. I know the name. I don't want to.
Gere.
It's got Richard Gere. He's an altar boy. I know the ending. Should I say it or should it be a spoiler?
Is it where it's like 4 kids?
No, basically he's an altar boy.
No, they're grown up, but they were abused as 4 kids.
Yes, they abuse the kids.
Yeah.
And he creates an altar boy, like who'll stutter. Oh, no, sir, I didn't mean to kill him and all that kind of. And he creates like an alter ego.
Right.
And at the end he goes, that alter ego never existed. Well, that's is anyone Jones here probably knows. It's Ed Norton and Richard Gere. It's about a Roman Catholic priest who kills him. That's a great twist as well.
It's New York set, I think, isn't it?
It'd be Boston. It'd be Boston, one of them places there.
Boston, yeah.
Primal Fear. So thank you. Is it Tricat 1? Tricat 1, thank you. Primal Fear, that's it. Primal Fear.
Nice one.
So yeah, that's one of the brilliant. Because obviously that.
I don't think I've seen that.
Oh, I'm sorry for spoiling. It's an old one. It's probably about 10 plus years old. But it's
this is how I came to Fight Club.
Yeah.
Someone told me about Fight Club and they went, "Oh, it's the same dude," and I literally had to go, "Okay, I've just got to forget about Fight Club," and I literally avoided it for 2 years. Then watched it again. But as I'm watching it, I'm going, "Can I remember what they told me about the spoiler?" And I went, "Oh yeah, I do know what it is." But I still
recommend you watch it.
I still found it enjoyable.
But no, it's just that's a great twist at the end. It's one of them that literally you find the ending, literally like Kaiser. Sorry to spoil it if you've not watched it. It's like Kaiser Soze's walking out.
They're both films. You have to watch it again and go. Right, now I know the ending. I've got to watch that again, and you're watching.
Primal Fear is the same. It's a guy who's basically he's a schizophrenic because he created an alter ego to get away with. To get Richard Gere, who's the lawyer on the side. Fucking brilliant film. I think it's on Netflix or Amazon Prime.
Joe, I probably have watched it.
You know, it's a brilliant film.
I probably have watched it, but
it's one of the films that you'll always remember. It's like Pulp Fiction. Everybody's watched Pulp Fiction. Yeah. No one talks about it, but everybody's watched Pulp Fiction. Yeah. That's not got to
I have watched it, but I've never watched it all in one sitting. Sometimes I'll catch the end, sometimes I'll catch the beginning. I've never watched it from start to end.
Why did you fall asleep?
No, just like...
You don't like it?
No, just like... Obviously when you're flicking and you go, oh, it's Pulp Fiction, so I've watched the end from certain bits.
You're Mr. Star Wars, alright?
But then, no, I do like it, but then from other bits, the bits where I've started watching it, and I've not got all the way through, it's pre the times of it's been recorded, so I've been able to stop and... If that was on my box now, you'd stop and start it. I'm talking about, it's been on the telly, I've started watching it, but I'm like, oh yeah, but I'm out at 8 or whatever.
Okay, if there's one film, if your telly just hopping, and a film comes on, you leave it on. Which film's with me? Apart from Star Wars, there obviously. But take Star Wars out of the way. You know, your telly hopper you got on that film.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter what part of the film it's on.
I couldn't name one film. I could probably name 100 films.
I'd probably say Shawshank Redemption.
I've watched that too many times.
I always watch it.
So if it's on, I will go. What I'll do is I'll go, right, that is on channel 142, and I'll keep flicking like that. And if there's nothing, I'll go, right, 142 it is.
Pulp Fiction. I always leave Pulp Fiction on. Usual Suspects. There's a few films which I'll always just leave on. It just no matter what part of the film it's on, I'll leave it on because it's just. Shawshank Redemption is probably one of the films where everybody's watched, but nobody talks about it, but everybody loves that film, Shawshank Redemption.
Tell you what, dead quick, right? So we started off by talking about The Boys.
Yes.
Right. So The Boys, how it's a reinvention of an old genre, superhero genre. I'll tell you what else has done that recently. It's a bit geeky, but Discovery, Star Trek Discovery. It's like, so you've got your Star Treks and they're all about the captains or the ships. So you've got the Enterprise, you know, with Captain Kirk. Then you've got the Enterprise with Picard. Then
Is that modern characters?
Then you've got a prequel where it's called The Enterprise and Scott Beluga, the guy out with used to talk to the guy Sam. Yeah. So you've got that. Then you've got like Deep Space Nine, again another spaceship, and all that. So Discovery, instead of focusing about the crew, because with Voyager, again named after the ship, sometimes you'd have a story with some of the ensigns or something, and sometimes it'd be a Janeway story, sometimes it'd be a story with all of them. Star Trek Discovery follows one person called Michael. There's a woman, and she's actually Spock's adopted stepsister or something. She was basically orphaned and then brought to growing up in that household. It's weird because she's never been mentioned, but the reason I'm mentioning it is it's a reinvention of Star Trek. It's like no other Star Trek series you've ever watched. It follows her and her story all the way through. Not, you know, yes, she gets assigned to a ship, and you get a few little stories, but they all contain her. You don't get a little spin-off story where she's not in it. Very interesting. Also brings in the old mushroom story that we covered on podcast, the psychedelics. So
our friend Nick loves reading about mushrooms.
And then another recent one that's done it. This is more closer to the genre. Mandalorian. If you've not watched Mandalorian, get hold of that. Mandalorian, Star Wars. It's based on. So you know who Boba Fett is in Star Wars?
I just watched it at Christmas time. Right. Star Wars.
You know who Boba Fett is in Star Wars? So Boba Fett's the guy with the mask with the slit like that.
Oh yeah, I know them, but I didn't know he was Boba Fett.
The guy, he's got a rocket pack.
Okay.
He's a bounty hunter. Yeah. So he's part of a race of Mandalorians, and they all look like that. That's their armor is their suit. They all look different colours and whatever. So it's the story of this Mandalorian, this guy, and it's just, again it just follows him through these episodes. It's really interesting. I think season 2 will be even more interesting because they're going to make some even more deeper callbacks to stuff that you've literally got to Google. If all you know is the Star Wars films and cartoons, you've literally got to go and Google it to find out what the hell's going on with this deeper story. So it's quite interesting. But yeah, I thought that was great because it still felt like Star Wars, but again it was something different, and it has a darker side to it. It did have a dark. In the first 30 seconds.
Made by Disney,
it's Disney, but in the first 30 seconds, he walks into a bar to arrest this dude, and these other people are like, well, no, I'm gonna not arrest, but collect the bounty. Oh, I'm doing that, and he sort of dispatches one guy by flinging him through this door, and then getting the door. The door's basically shut and chop the guy in half. Yeah. That's in the first 30 seconds, a minute of the first episode. So. That's not a spoiler, but that's the tone about how it comes on.
So it's very violent and stuff like that.
It's not very violent. It's just like this
hardcore.
This is different. Okay, you've got Ben Kenobi chopping an arm off in that bar scene. Technically, yeah, it is, but I think that's played down a bit, isn't it, in Star Wars?
The original Star Wars is not very violent, is it? It's just there's a lot of fights.
Other than the arm, yeah. But you don't see much. And like when Vader kills Obi-Wan, he just collapses.
Yeah, there's no blood.
There's no blood and guts, and obviously the stormtroopers can't.
It's like the A-Team. Your A-Team, everyone with machine guns and grenades, but nobody gets hurt. Isn't it like that?
Yeah.
So we think we've reached an hour now.
Yes, we definitely have. So
I enjoyed this.
Again, we didn't think we'd get through an hour. Yeah, sorry about any of the background noise. I think if this has been all right, I might upload this as an audio podcast. Actually, this has come across quite okay. Yeah, brilliant. So yeah, Jonesy, thanks for the Prime sub. Appreciate that.
Tracap 1, thank you for the Primal Fair. Thank you for getting involved, and obviously Jonesy, thank you for the Fight Club as well.
Cool. Yeah, excellent. So we're recording the podcast on Wednesday.
We're doing moon landing.
Yeah, well,
moon
all sorts of moon conspiracies.
I've got loads on this, Andy's got loads on this, and Nick the third.
I really
have you not got?
research,
Well, Nick's got the other, so I've got loads on this. And why we've not been back? The missing 2 minutes. Fuck me, I've got loads on this. Loads on it.
Cool. All right, brilliant. In 2 minutes, that's the new one for me. Right. See you later, guys.
Thank you.
We've just got another viewer. We're just about to go off viewer.
It says no. It just said I think.
Oh, it's giving a little thumbs up wave. Brilliant.
Thank you.
All right, cheers.
Bye.
See you later, guys.
Bye.
Bye.